All right, let's talk about savings for a second. It can be difficult to do, but savings really help us with emergencies, big ticket items, and setting ourselves up for the future. I tell every Marine you need to have an emergency fund set up. It's not pizza money, it's not movie money, it's just an emergency fund, so that if an emergency happens in life, it doesn't change your life, you just take care of the emergency. That's what an emergency fund does. It takes the crisis out of the emergency. If something happens with a family member and you've got to fly home, now you're not putting it on a credit card and going into debt. You've got the money, you just fly home. If you have a vehicle and something breaks down and you take it to the shop and it's going to be a $500 cost to fix it, well, now it's not a crisis. You've got the money in the emergency fund. You just pay and get the car fixed. It doesn't change your life. It takes the crisis out of the emergency. And then you work to rebuild the emergency fund, but it takes the stress out of the emergency. So they say a baby emergency fund is at least $1,000 in the bank that you have access to, that just sits there, you don't touch. A fully funded emergency fund, they say, is 3 to 6 months of expenses. In the civilian world, if you lose your job and you don't have an emergency fund, now you're just wondering, how am I going to make ends meet? If you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in your fully funded emergency fund, if something happens and you lose your job, well, now you keep yourself afloat for a few months while you get the next thing figured out. That's why for civilians and reservists, having that fully funded emergency fund can be huge. And it may take a while to build up to that, but that's the goal. I've got this money set aside. If something catastrophic happens in life, I can keep myself afloat while I get the next thing figured out.